I'm Julie Means, and welcome to Studio J Podcast. And we are going to be talking about the NFL. We're going to go over a recap of the playoffs, talk about my favorite NFL team, and we're going to be talking about the Super Bowl. So those are our main three topics today. So let's get right into it. Let's go over my team. Um, it is, you can see the logo right here, the Titans. Sadly, the Tennessee Titans. We suck. We sucked for a while. Um, we were really good in the late 2010s. And besides that, we weren't good until I was born, basically around the early 2000s, late 90s. We were good. But in between all that, we've sucked. And we kind of suck now, too. But we have some future, I think. I think we have a future. I think we just got a brand new head coach, Robert Saleh. He got a whole new staff coming in, head coaching staff. Brian Dable, bunch of new guys, and the complete difference it is. It's night and day with our last coaching staff this past year and a half is experience. We brought in a rookie QB, and we said let's bring in all these rookie coaches, all these guys that have not a lot of experience in the specific coaching spot they're in. Like our offensive coordinator didn't have a lot of offensive coordinator experience. Our coach had never been a head coach, stuff like that. So this year, our whole new coaching staff, they all have experience, and I think that's going to help a lot with rookies. It's going to help a lot with just a young team overall. Yeah. So yeah, but we suck. This last season we sucked. Cam Ward was the only highlight really, and Jeffrey Simmons. That's about it. There wasn't much else than that. But like I said, new coaches. If we can nail this draft, I will be excited for the season because our rookies from last year also were pretty solid. Not just Cam Ward. We had a tight end, I believe an offensive tackle. Either way, if we can nail this draft and these coaches work out, I think we could do well next year. We've seen a couple teams this year turn it around immediately with a new coach, like a second year quarterback, and just a new identity. The Patriots, the Jaguars, the Seahawks. All these teams were either bad or okay last year, and now they're either and now are all great. Jags were they flipped their record in a row. Sorry, they flipped their record around, and the Patriots went from being also flipped their record around. Now they're in the Super Bowl, and the Seahawks also were barely a playoff team, if that, last year. Now they're in the Super Bowl. It's crazy. It just matters how much. It shows how much. Well, it shows how much a head coach matters to fit your team, and the windows are just so small with NFL. Your team can be so good. A couple injuries happen, not that good anymore. A couple things go your way, now you're in the Super Bowl. Because it's just one game, the playoffs. It's completely different to any other sports series and playoffs. It's awesome, but it's kind of annoying as a fan. But it's also what makes the NFL so awesome. But yeah. Anyways, so Titans ready for this next season. Pumped for the draft. Tighten up. Okay, let's move on. Now we can talk about let's go over like a playoffs recap. So the wild card, we started off with the Bears coming alive. Caleb Williams, he looked legit. Packers played a good game. They'll be fine next year, without some injuries. Michael Parsons going down was a big thing. Jordan Love was out for a while. Um, and they just have an injury bug every year. But I think without an injury bug, with Michael Parsons' full training camp, everything, I think they can be really good next year. I think if they pick up some stuff in the draft, maybe a free agent here and there, I like the Packers next year. I was pretty high on them coming into the year, or at least the first few weeks. I was like they look pretty good. Yeah, but Caleb Williams, he proved a big game here. Um, Bears came out hot, and yeah, it's pretty dope. We can move on to the next game: the Rams versus the Panthers. The Rams barely sneak by in a game that a lot of people thought was going to be not close. They just need to be consistent. They ended up clutching in the end, but you almost felt like you didn't need to clutch up this game at all. It should have been like a pretty easy win. So it's scary as a Rams fan for this game. The Panthers have a future. Bryce Young looked good. They have a solid core. If they can nail next year's draft again, pick up some free agents, their division's pretty weak. I think they can, like, they probably make the playoffs again next year. Wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, so Rams squeezed by. Patriots and the Chargers. Patriots manhandled them. Their defense is picking up at the right time. They were solid throughout the year, but they had ups and downs. Now they're looking great. Drake May didn't really have all that great of a game, but they didn't need to. Defense did most of the job. And the Chargers could never stay healthy. I feel so bad for Herbert. He's the dude that's always pushing through with 3 injuries, and his entire O-line's gone. His receivers are either injured or just not playing well. His running backs are hurt, and they're barely coming back. And I need a full year of a healthy Chargers team, and I think they can be dangerous. I think Herbert, if he came into the playoffs with all his weapons, a full O-line, or at least most of it, if he had like 90% in his arsenal of his team, I think they would be dangerous. Because they always make good pickups and just never works out. Okay, and then the next one, the Bills versus the Jags. This felt like, at the time, now we're at the Super Bowl, the time felt like whoever was winning this game was going to go to the Super Bowl. And it's not what worked out, but this was a great game. One of the better games in the playoffs. Josh Allen is the best QB in the league, as of right now. But it's probably his worst team he's ever played with since, his teams were good. Ever since the Bills were good, like competitive, this is probably his worst team he's taken to the playoffs, which is a bummer because this is probably the weakest teams he's had to face. If like last year's Bills team played here, it's a Super Bowl, not even close. But they have a good pass defense, a great pass defense, and they have a great offense. But their offense is weird. It's great, but it can be okay or sometimes bad. If Josh Allen has a bad game, if Josh Allen has an okay game, they can lose because their run defense blows. So if a team can run on him, use up a lot of clock, and then Josh Allen has an okay game, game's over. You can beat them pretty easily. You can go score, you can hold Josh Allen to an okay game. You can beat the Bills. At least that's how it was this year. So it's just a lot of teams had trouble doing both. But if you do both, it's over. But, Jags coming back, first year head coach, 14-3 after being 4-13. They can be scary next year. But like I said, windows close. You don't think that this would be a one window and they're done, but you never know. So they better keep that momentum, keep that pace, pick up some better receivers for Trevor, and just do a better job overall. Then the last wild card is Houston versus the Steelers. The Texans defense is legit. It's like an all-time defense, and Rodgers just couldn't handle it. I don't blame him. This is a tough team for him to face with a pretty mediocre offense. He made it look good at times throughout the season, but it's tough to make it look pretty against a really good defense. So I don't know. I don't know if Rodgers is done. I could probably see him being done, but at the same time, Mike McCarthy now, the head coach, wouldn't be crazy if he comes back for one more year. And I feel like, I don't know, Rodgers is the kind of guy, he likes the attention. Even though sometimes he tries to seem like he doesn't, he likes the spotlight. I could see him announcing it was the last year, like pretty early in the season. Even though he kind of did on, I think it was Pat McAfee's show this past year. He was like, I think it's my last year. That's why we signed a 1-year deal. I don't know. He hasn't announced it, so I feel like he would have already. But yeah, those are all the wildcard rounds. Really good wildcard round. The only game that was kind of boring was the Patriots game. Even the Houston game had some fun moments. The Patriots game was the only one that was really boring. There was 3 great games: Bears, Rams, and Bills. All those were crazy. But yeah, next, divisional rounds. Broncos and the Bills. Broncos crushed the Bills' hearts. Wow, like I said, Josh Allen has an okay day, and they lose. Their defense didn't play that well. It played okay, but you know, for them having a really good pass defense, they let Bo Nix throw all over him. He had a great game, but Broncos didn't even try to run really. Even though, the Bills have a bad run defense, they said we're going to stick with our game plan, which is they do well throwing the ball. Even though their offense isn't that great, if they are going to do good, it's with Bo throwing the ball. They said we're going to stick to this game plan. We don't believe the Bills can hold us, and that's what they did. They um, called the Bills bluff. That's what they did. And Josh Allen having an okay game, just can't do that. He could do that if their defense played better, but they didn't. So, like you said, if you can score on the Bills and Josh Allen has an okay game, you can beat them. And they did beat him by a lot, but they beat him. So, but Bo Nix gets hurt here in the last few minutes of the game, and I believe he fractured his ankle, which is crazy. Didn't look like that. So much adrenaline. Didn't even see a limp getting off the field or anything. And then, boom, news dropped after the game, and it was like, what? There goes, the Broncos' hopes. But, yeah. Next game, Seahawks, Niners. Game wasn't close. Seahawks just way better. Niners, their injury bug every season. Something's going to change. They got to change, something in the staff of the medical assistants. They just have way too many injuries every year. And there was an article that came out about some sort of energy radiation facility or something, or wavelengths in the ground. Since it's right next to their practice facility, it can cause it can weaken tendons and stuff, which is crazy. If that's actually true, then they need to move that facility right now. That's crazy. No wonder that every year, the past 3 or 4 years, they've had some sort of injury bug. So Seahawks, just an easy game. Next game, Texans versus Patriots. Another kind of ugly win for the Patriots. Not a good Drake May game again, but a great Texans defense game again. Or sorry, I don't know why I said Drake May. Not a great. No, I did. Yeah, sorry. I meant great defense for the Patriots and bad Drake May game. Texans played good defense as well, but CJ Stroud played horrible. He didn't play great in the wild card round either, but he played bad here. He just, I don't know. He had multiple picks, some bad picks too. Like I said, the Patriots playing good defense, but you can't be doing that in the wild card or in the playoffs in general. So I think CJ Stroud, it's kind of a prove it next year. I think he had a great rookie year. He needs to kind of prove it next year, or else I wouldn't be shocked if the Texans move on from him. He's been very inconsistent. But Patriots sneak by again, ugly win. Patriots look great. Their defense looks great. Vrabel's coaching well. Drake May's not doing well, and they're still winning. So it doesn't matter right now as long as you're winning. And the last divisional game, the Rams versus the Bears. Rams again sneak by barely. That's what Stafford does. What the Rams do. They know how to win in the clutch. And the Bears played good, but I think this is where the playoff experience comes in, and the Rams are we're better. So, Bears have a fun future. Caleb Williams looks fun, but overall, just Rams are a better team. Then we got the NFC and the AFC championships. We got Patriots versus Broncos. Once again, ugly win for the Patriots. Broncos offense just blows. Even with Bo Nix, it wasn't that good. It was good in the Bills game, but the whole season, they're like a bottom 10 offense, and it's so hard for them to move the ball. A lot of their games in the regular season, it was 10-7. Their defense did so good. Their offense just did terrible, and then they'd go down, and Bo Nix would have some clutch drive to end the game, and they win. So, You know, they had some fun highlights to end the games, and their defense always did well. So like on paper, you're like they look pretty good, but if you watch the games, you go their offense blows. If they face a team that has a good defense and that can score, it's over. Um, which this was horrible offense game for both sides. And it turned into like a blizzard in the last quarter and a half. Even the first 2.5 quarters, it was just horrible. Drake May couldn't get the ball going. Jared Stidham looked terrible. Everyone just couldn't move the ball. So both offenses blow. Both defenses are great. And then when the blizzard conditions kicked in, Patriots just, well, Jared Stidham fumbled, which led to a Patriots touchdown, which kind of, that one play literally changed the game because no one scored after that. Well, there might have been one field goal, but like that put that set aside the win for the Patriots. Pats to the Super Bowl. Crazy. Only, I believe, 7 years after Tom Brady leaves New England, the last playoff game where my Titans knocked Tom Brady out of New England. That was great, and I relive those glory days every time I'm sad that we suck now. Yeah, it's crazy they're back in the Super Bowl already. And then we got Seahawks versus Rams. What a great game. The Seahawks look unbeatable as they advance to the Super Bowl. The Rams they've met their competitor, They squeezed all the way through here to get to this game, and they couldn't squeeze out again. The Seahawks were their poison. Seahawks did in the regular season in their second matchup. And yeah, was a great game. Sam Darnold, playing legit. And yeah, you got to feel bad for Devontae Adams. He's lost a lot of playoff games, been on a lot of good teams. But Seahawks back in the Super Bowl since the Russell Wilson days. It's pretty crazy. This Patriots-Seahawks matchup, literally since the Brady-Russell Wilson Super Bowl, the iconic. Marshawn Lynch doesn't get the ball. It's crazy that we're already back here this soon, And it doesn't sound like it's been that soon, but it's kind of rare for two teams to meet up again. When they're not necessarily, the Seahawks aren't necessarily like a historic franchise, so it's like kind of rare for them to already be back in the Super Bowl. It's just not how it usually works, but it's awesome. I like the Seahawks. They're probably my second favorite team behind the Titans. I've always had a multiple Seahawks fans, like friends, so I always had like a soft spot for them. I like their colors. I like their players. I liked Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson back in the day, and Marshawn Lynch, and I like DK Metcalf, and I like JSN, and they're fun. And yeah, so we are now on to the Super Bowl. My thoughts: Seahawks are on a roll, and it's going to take a lot to slow them down. They haven't really been slowed down at all, and their defense has been super dominant. It didn't play amazing, but it played well enough versus maybe the best offense in the league in the Rams. So, you're not really worried about their offense because Sam Darnold's playing great. Kenneth Walker's picking it up at the right time. JSN's still JSN. So, I think even if Sam Darnold has an off game, their defense is that good that the Patriots' offense has been that bad. Where that lines up, it's like great Seahawks defense, bad, as of right now, bad Patriots offense, or solid Seahawks offense and good, almost great Patriots defense right now. It's like, where do you want to lean? I think I lean towards trusting the team that's more hot right now because the Patriots offense is cold right now. But I will say, Patriots can outcoach them. I trust Vrabel more to outcoach the Seahawks. But I think the Seahawks will outplay them. That's my kind of prediction. So you might see the Patriots kind of take the lead early or something, and then they kind of keep the lead for a while, and then the Seahawks just kind of kick it into another gear, start outplaying them, maybe get a turnover, go score again, and they start to pull away. That's where you see Vrabel can't do much more. He's starting to just be like, they're just outplaying us, no matter what I call, no matter what we do. This team's just more stacked, more talented, and they're just better. I think that's what's going to happen. the Patriots need a lot of things to go their way. They need Sam Darnold to have an off game, and they need Drake May to have a great game. And then if that happens, the Patriots can win. But I think Sam Darnold hasn't had a bad game, so I don't know if that's going to happen. It wouldn't shock me, but I don't think it's going to happen. And then Drake May needs to have a great game. If that hasn't happened, also wouldn't shock me if that happened. But both happening, I don't know. That would be kind of crazy. So, yeah, but I think I got Seahawks winning by 10 or more. That's my prediction. I think they will pull away in the third or fourth quarter. I think it'll be a close game at first, unless Drake May gives it up. Unless there's some crazy turnover the Seahawks have early, then I think they're going to pull away earlier. But if the Patriots don't turn it over early, their defense stays consistent, and they score fast, they can kind of keep it close in the first half. But I think the third, fourth quarter, Seahawks force a turnover, and they go score twice in a row, and they just pull away. But yeah, those are my thoughts on my Titans, on the playoffs recap, and my Super Bowl prediction. Seahawks beating the Patriots by 10 or more points. I will be talking more about NFL offseason stuff, after the Super Bowl. I'll also do a Super Bowl recap episode talking about that. But we'll do some NFL offseason stuff. I'll bring some guests on. We'll talk about that. Not just my team, all the teams, how we think they should proceed with the offseason, with the draft, the free agency, everything. We'll kind of talk about that. Let me know if you guys want to hear anything else. But yeah, thanks for listening. You can follow Studio J on Instagram and TikTok at StudioJ_podcast. I'll be posting some clips and trivia there as well. We'll definitely do some NFL trivia, and I'll post some clips from this episode, and so it'll kind of get you to watch the full episode here. I mean, you can also watch this on YouTube or just listen to it on Spotify at Studio J Podcasts. I'm Julian Means, and thanks for stepping into Studio J.